Illegal aliens have officially taken over the city of Chicago. I used to think New York City or Los Angeles were the epicenters for the illegal immigration crisis. But after the new policy implementations by Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson and his declaration that no person can be illegal in the city of Chicago, they now wear that crown and are ground zero. And you will not believe what these emboldened illegal migrants are doing with the blessing of their mayor. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's start by watching Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker hand out Mexican candy in migrant communities for Halloween.
Halloween. You're welcome.
Sorry, I got the baby. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Gobernador de Illinois J.B. Pritzker celebrando el Halloween de los niños latinos aquí en la comunidad de La Villita.
Happy Halloween. You want some candy too?
That was a symbolic gesture that communicates overtly the state of Illinois does not acknowledge or abide by federal immigration law. That is J.B. Pritzker saying, we don't care what your legal status is. We don't care that you're taking housing supply from Americans who need it. We don't care that you're undercutting American wages at a time when Americans themselves are struggling to get by. I will harbor you. I will protect you. I will assimilate into your way of life. Hell, I'll even prioritize you. I am your governor and you are my constituents. And let me be clear, the kids are not at fault. The kids are the victims. Their parents broke the law and sentenced them to a lifetime of anxiety and uncertainty, that they have to watch over their shoulders, that any day they could receive the news that mommy and daddy have been arrested, that any day federal agents could come knocking at their door, upending their entire life and sending them to a country they are unfamiliar with. These are the consequences of the parents' actions that the children have to live with. And just because they did it to provide a better life for themselves and their family doesn't change the fact that they broke the law. If I robbed a bank under the pretenses of wanting to provide a better life for my children, I would not be granted immunity from repercussions because I claimed my motivations were altruistic. In fact, I would be the bad guy for putting a target on my family's back. But according to Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, disregarding the law is morally just. In fact, the law is racist and offensive. And that's why, according to him, no person can be illegal in the city of Chicago. Watch.
We don't have illegal aliens. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you wish you've had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
The Democrat obsession with changing words to sound more politically correct, more joyful, more cheerful, more flowery, more rosy, more colorful is both childish and a clear sign of emotional and mental instability. It shows a true lack of maturity and selfishness if, as an adult, you want words to be changed because you think they sound too mean, they rub you the wrong way, you just can't stand it. And it leads down this disturbing and gross path of trying to destigmatize everything in the name of inclusivity that now Democrats demand in the name of politeness and compassion. You must call people who assault children minor attracted persons, and not the much more nefarious name that I can't say, otherwise YouTube will demonetize me. Their obsession with virtue signaling and suicidal empathy leads to this culture of endless concern, sympathy, and prioritization for the comforts of criminals. And another thing is, Brandon Johnson is such a staunch racist, he doesn't even realize it. The term illegal alien is used to describe any person illegally present in the United States. If he interprets that word to be singling out Hispanic people or somehow black people, that says a whole lot more about Brandon Johnson than the offensiveness of the word. But would you be surprised if I told you that extremely stupid statement by Brandon Johnson had an even dumber explanation attached to it? Well, here you go.
We cannot allow people to be dehumanized, because what it does is it opens up viciousness. Because if they're not seen as human beings, then whatever you do against them can be justified. And no one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified.
I mean, the confidence this man has in his ignorance and stupidity is just mind-blowing. When a person kills another person, let's not call them a murderer. That's dehumanizing. That's stigmatizing. Instead, let's call them a person who accidentally made another person go bye-bye. Or when someone commits a terrorist attack, let's not call them a terrorist. Let's call them a person who accidentally did a whoopsie. This Democrat philosophy that no person should feel bad about themselves, even the most heinous criminals who assault children, is exactly why they're seen as the party that loves illegal aliens and loves crime in cities. Trump wants to clean up crime in Chicago, and they say, no, you can't do that. Murders and carjackings are a way of life here. That's what makes the city great. But now, thanks to the blessings of both Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker, the illegal migrants in Chicago are now forming a union and refusing to pay rent until ICE leaves the city. Take a look.
The courtyard of a Rogers Park apartment complex echoed with the voices of renters and tenant advocates united in protest against what they describe extreme rent hikes and unsafe living conditions across several buildings around Fargo and Damon Avenues. Tenants from 4 buildings owned by the same landlord came together and formed a union known as Fuerzas Activas de la Damon.
En estos momentos en que ICE está aterrorizando a nuestra gente.
Right now that ICE is terrorizing our community, our landlord is trying to nearly double the rent, says another longtime renter. Tenants say ramped up immigration enforcement has made it challenging for them to go to work.
This means they're losing wages, and that means that it's going to be much more difficult for them going forward to pay rent.
They currently pay between $900 and $1,500 a month, and as of October, they're facing rent increases of $600 to $700. The union has made efforts to reach an agreement with the landlord, calling for necessary repairs, limiting rent hikes to $50 per year, and protecting tenants from eviction. They warn that if the requests are not met, they are prepared to strike.
It's more than just rent. It's a fight for dignity, for justice, and for community, for all tenants across the city.
Tenants say if their landlord doesn't address their demands, they'll move forward with the rent strike starting November 1st.
Yes, guys, you heard that right. Run the entire clip back and watch it again so you can see just how absurd and entitled these people are. They are not supposed to be in the country. And because of that, law enforcement upholding the laws of the United States are now out to get them. And because they're afraid of getting arrested for a crime they elected to commit, they're refusing to go to work so they can continue to break the law and remain here illegally. And because of the shit situation they're in, entirely due to their own making, they're demanding that the landlord stop collecting rent payments and also doesn't evict them while they're not paying. I knew this entire illegal immigration crisis was a giant scam to take advantage of America when I saw a video from New York City of an illegal immigrant lady from some obscure country in Africa saying it was both offensive and disrespectful that the free hotel she was staying in New York City didn't serve the exact specific ethnic food from her region in Africa, and that their taxpayer-provided legal representation didn't speak her exact dialect in a continent that is home to over 1,000 different languages. The immigrants of the past were excited to come to America, to be American, to assimilate into our way of life, to have the opportunity to better their families' lives by working hard and being productive and giving back to the country that took them in. But the immigrants of today are the complete opposite. They're entitled. They have no interest in assimilating. They're unproductive. They're a net drain on society. They get on government welfare the day they step foot in this country and have no plans of getting off of it. But one of Mayor Brandon Johnson's more stupid recent proclamations was declaring schools and churches and hospitals ICE-free zones. And even though this proclamation has no legal authority, the illegal migrants in Chicago are taking that at face value. And that's how you get a situation like this, where criminal, illegal migrants with rap sheets are running into Chicago schools to try and hide from ICE. Watch.
The Department of Homeland Security says the second suspect was taken into custody inside the school. DHS says the two suspects have previously been removed from the U.S. and have long rap sheets that include things like kidnapping, domestic violence, and assault. In a statement in part, DHS says these two criminal illegal aliens recklessly endangered the public by starting a high-speed car chase and then driving onto school grounds, possibly to seek protection since they are ICE-free zones. Border Patrol does not conduct enforcement near schools, but will not allow criminal illegal aliens to put the public in harm's way. The school superintendent says he spoke to Border Patrol leadership after the incident and expressed his concerns. The school is also offering additional support for students who need help processing this incident.
So because of Chicago's sanctuary policies and defiance of federal immigration law, you had two previously deported illegal aliens convicted of kidnapping and domestic violence, leading a high-speed chase onto school grounds and running in a school to harbor themselves. Declaring certain buildings like schools and hospitals and churches ICE-free zones only encourages the worst of the worst to go there to seek shelter, endangering the innocent people and children that are there. The same exact way a sanctuary city encourages the worst of the worst to go to Chicago or New York or Portland or Los Angeles because they know they will be protected and safe, also endangering the innocent people and children who live there. And it's clear as day now, the only reason these cities have sanctuary policies is to bolster the population numbers in these blue states for electoral representation purposes. They'll say, we do coordinate with ICE when the migrant is arrested for a violent crime, but evidently not, because these two people were already convicted of domestic violence and kidnapping. It's just a way to bolster their population numbers, as every person with common sense is fleeing these places as fast as they can. And it's clear that the suffering and terrorization of the law-abiding citizenry is of no concern to Brandon Johnson or JB Pritzker. Because take a look at this next clip out of Chicago that is absolutely jarring and heartbreaking.
Federal authorities took 32-year-old Ricardo Gonzalez into custody out in Cobb County, Georgia. He was wanted on a Chicago Police Department warrant for kidnapping, along with a probable cause for 2 counts on first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. Officials believe Gonzalez, a suspected member of the Tren de Aragua gang, is the person who kidnapped 3 women here in the Chicago area back on January 28th. They say he took them to an alley in the 7700 block of South Oglesby Avenue, where he shot all 3 in the head. 2 of those women died, while the 3rd survived, managing to escape and find help.
If as a politician you're able to maintain sanctuary policies even after things like that occurring, your intentions are clear and obvious and no longer up to speculation. That is the beautiful diversity and multiculturalism Democrats love to pat themselves on the back for. Tren de Aragua gang member terrorists calling your city home and killing 2 innocent women execution style. These are policies that could not be pursued by American politicians unless they were mad or openly declaring that their jurisdiction is merely a territory of Mexico, of Venezuela. And this kind of violent behavior is acceptable and commonplace there, so it must also be in Chicago. We are seeing the downfall of all of our great American cities at the hands of radical leftists. Zohran Mamdani in New York City, Brandon Johnson in Chicago, Mayor Karen Bass in Los Angeles. A concerted effort in the name of globalism and unity and inclusivity to turn great American cities into third world hellholes, where even criminals who break the law believe their impending arrest makes them entitled to not paying rent. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.